Be right with you, Detective. Hi. How are you?
Aren't you gonna wash up?
I assure you, Detective, my hands are more sterile than yours.
Uh-huh. I do have to commend you, Doctor. Not many MEs would have been able to make the connection you did, let alone bring it to our attention.
Yes, we do what we can. Unfortunately, I have a few more autopsies scheduled today that require my attention, so do you want to get started?
Carry on.
As I stated in my report, 3 undetermined deaths within 4 days. All 3 of the deceased carry the same unique tattoo. We spoke to each of their families, but as far as they knew, none of the victims were connected.
It was to protect their families.
I beg your pardon? Why don't we speak in my office? I know the smells in here can get a little overwhelming sometimes.
I started to list the names of these victims in my weekly report. None of the names at first seemed to ring a bell, but once they were grouped together on paper, they did. In the early 90s, all 3 victims were presumed to be involved in a triple homicide, but never charged. They were survived by their 11-year-old daughter, June Vanderberg.
You remember cases and names after 20 years? I can't seem to remember a patient's name after a month.
Doctor, as a detective, you never forget your first homicide.
Yes, of course. I just... How can I help, Detective?
I've done some investigating and found something that may help you determine cause of death and get some insight from a medical perspective.
Yes, please, take a seat. Oh, sorry. I've been having trouble with this chair all week. Here, let me help. There you go.
Tricky old thing, huh? Thanks. The first victim's name, Mike Buckley. Received acupuncture therapy just hours before he was found dead in his car. You mentioned there was a small and deliberate puncture through his,
AV valve.
Yes, that. I'm inclined to believe there may have been a long needle purposely positioned over his AV valve.
Detective, that's a bit...
Far-fetched, I know. But then let's explore the others. The second victim, Tyler Rhodes. Your report mentioned he leaked out too much
CSF fluid.
CSF fluid, right. Tyler was a big drinker. He went to his local bar every night for the last 2 weeks, where he gets into a random fist fight with a different guy each night.
Well, his toxicology report supports high consumptions of alcohol, numbers that can only be achieved with continuous substance abuse. I suppose this state of intoxication attracts this type of aggressive behavior?
No, Tyler didn't know any of them. All 9 men hit him in the exact same spot every single time. Witnesses at the scene stated that they didn't recognize any of the men. And Tyler's family, they didn't have any information either. Don't you find that a bit bizarre?
I'll take your word for it. Perhaps those 9 different men wanted to hit him where it hurts. I mean, it would make sense to aim at a previously developed injury.
No, not when it's the only spot that they hit.
Okay, I could tell from the condition of his face that he experienced some sort of trauma. Now, CSF fluid stops leaking once the body has had a chance to heal, but that only takes 24 to 48 hours. I guess this information reveals why he never healed.
Exactly. You're missing my point. The third victim, John Hardy, I guarantee whatever you found, some bizarre, undetermined cause of death as well, right?
Well, I haven't completed Mr. Hardy's autopsy yet. Look, detective, I don't disagree with your approach. While your information is somewhat interesting, it's not enough to confidently determine a cause of death.
Don't you see? I believe this was a targeted homicide by
believe
someone
you.
who is medically educated and trained. I need your help in determining who did this before the killer strikes again.
Mark. May I call you Mark?
That's fine.
Do you know anything about the saphenous vein?
No, not at all. Why?
The saphenous vein is the longest vein in the body. It actually extends the entire height of one's body, delivering blood to the organs, heart, and brain. This vein has a diameter of a pencil. Quite a bit of blood can flow through this vein.
Does this have something to do with the third victim that was brought in this morning?
Not quite, but keep following me here. If the saphenous vein is severed, a large amount of blood would escape in a short period of time, creating a clot so large that it could restrict the blood from traveling to the vital organs. This leak could potentially kill someone very slowly.
Excuse me, skipped my morning coffee this morning. Please continue.
The easiest and most inconspicuous way to sever the saphenous vein is around your talus, or ankle bone. Senior citizens can...
Doc, what is this all about? You're killing me here.
Well, yes. That was my point, actually.
What?
I've killed you, and this is how I did it.
You're the little girl.